Hi, this is Creative Growth, and you are listening to Creative Growth Podcast. Hi, and this is so nice to have you here with me today. Seriously, out of everything you could be doing right now, you choose to spend a little bit of your time here, and that generally means a lot to me. I hope your week has been good to you. I hope you got some rest and a few nice moments, maybe even a laugh or two along the way. And if the week was rough, hey, that is okay too. You are here now, and that's what matters. So I'd like to invite you for a little meeting with me. Not a formal one, nothing serious, just a short, easy conversation. The kind you'd have with someone you feel comfortable with. No agenda, no pressure, just us talking. Before we dive in, I want you to do something for me. Go make yourself something nice to drink. A coffee, if you need that little kick. A tea, if you are in a cozy kind of mood. Maybe a water with lemon or a juice. Honestly, whatever makes you feel good right now, go grab it. I will wait. Got it? Perfect. Now find yourself a comfortable spot. Sink into an armchair, stretch out on the bed, curl up on the sofa. Or maybe you're the kind of person who listens while doing something else entirely. Doing the dishes, folding laundry, going for a walk, or tidying up the apartment. That is completely 100% fine with me. I actually love the idea that this little conversation of ours can tag along with you wherever you are today. However you're listening, wherever you are, I'm just glad you are here. So let's slow down a little, take a breath, and spend some time together. Ready? Let's go. Here is what I want you to understand. This isn't really about your phone. Your phone is not the villain of this story. It's a tool. A brilliant, endlessly useful, occasionally wonderful tool. The real issue is what happens when we use our phone to escape from ourselves. Think about it. I will repeat. The real issue is what happens when we use our phone to escape from ourselves. When do you reach for your phone? When you're bored, when you're anxious, when the silence in a conversation gets uncomfortable, when you are waiting for something and you don't want to just wait, when you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't fall back to sleep, when you are in a feeling you don't want to feel. A phone becomes a door we walk through every time we don't want to be where we are. And the problem isn't just the scrolling. It's that every time we reach for the phone instead of sitting with discomfort, we get a little bit worse at sitting with discomfort. We lose a tiny piece of our ability to be alone with ourselves, to tolerate stillness, to hear our own thoughts. And for women, especially women who are already spending so much energy being present for everyone else, that lost capacity to be present for yourself is quietly devastating. Now, I'm not here to tell you to delete your apps. I tried that, maybe you've tried that too. What usually happens is this. You delete Instagram on Monday, feel incredibly virtuous for about 48 hours, reinstall it on Wednesday because you just need to check one thing, and by Thursday you are scrolling harder than before because you feel like you already failed. Extreme digital detoxes work the same way crash diets work. They are not a solution, they are a punishment. And punishment doesn't build new habits. It just makes you feel bad about your old ones. So what works? What actually works? What the research and honestly just common sense tells us is this. You don't need to break up with your phone forever. You need to build a better relationship with yourself. One where you don't need the phone to fill every silence. One where stillness feels like rest, not emptiness. That's what this episode is about. Not restriction, restoration. And I have 3 stories and 3 tools for you today that are going to make this feel very, very possible. The first story is about a woman I will call Nadia. Nadia was a night scroller. Every night after a long day of being everything to everyone, mother, colleague, partner, friend, she would finally get into bed. And the moment her head hit the pillow, she would pick up her phone. She told herself it was how she unwound, her me time. And in a way it was. It was the only quiet hour she had. But she was spending it consuming other people's lives, other people's opinions, other people's aesthetics, never just being. She noticed she was falling asleep later and waking up tired. She noticed she was starting her day already feeling behind, already knowing about 17 problems in the world before she had her first coffee. She noticed she felt very inadequate in a way she couldn't fully explain. One night her phone died before she could charge it, and she lay in the dark, completely still, for the first time in months. And she realized she didn't know how to fall asleep anymore without her phone. She had forgotten how to just end the day. That night, she slept better than she had in a year. Does this story sound familiar? The second story is about a woman named Clara. Clara was not addicted to social media in the obvious way. She didn't scroll for hours. She checked in a few times a day. Her feed, some stories, a little Pinterest, normal, right? But she started to notice something. Every time she put her phone down, she felt slightly worse than before she picked it up. Not dramatically, just a slight dimming, a quiet sense that her apartment wasn't nice enough, her body wasn't the right shape, her weekend wasn't interesting enough, her life wasn't quite measuring up to some invisible standard she'd absorbed without ever choosing to. She wasn't even following accounts that made her feel bad on purpose. She had curated her feed carefully, but still, there it was, this constant low hum of comparison she hadn't consented to. What Clara realized, and this is important, is that the comparison wasn't really about the people she was following. It was about what the scrolling was doing to her inner landscape. It was keeping her in a state of evaluation, always measuring, always assessing, always slightly elsewhere. When she started putting her phone in another room during meals and on walks, something unexpected happened. She started noticing her own life again. The small things, the good things, the things that were hers. The third story is one some of you might not expect to relate to until you do. Her name was Sophia, and Sophia was not scrolling mindlessly. She was consuming self-improvement content, productivity videos, morning routine inspiration, podcast episodes about becoming your best self, habits trackers, goal-setting frameworks. She was learning a lot. But she wasn't doing very much. And she started to notice something uncomfortable. She felt busy all the time, but she wasn't sure she was actually growing. She was consuming growth content instead of actually growing. The inspiration had become a way of feeling like she was working on herself without the discomfort of actually working on herself. Sound familiar? What Sophia learned, and what I want you to hear, is that even good content can become an avoidance strategy. Even the podcast can become that if you listen but never sit in the quiet long enough to actually think. The most powerful thing Sophia did was not find better content. It was to put her phone away for an hour every morning, not to exercise, not to journal, not to be productive, just to let her own mind speak without competition. And what she heard surprised her. She already knew what she needed to do. She just hadn't been quiet long enough to hear it. Here are 3 tools. Not rules, not challenges, tools. Things you pick up when you need them. Tool number 1. Protect the first 30 minutes of your morning. Before you look at your phone, before you check messages, emails, social media, the news, give yourself 30 minutes that belong only to you. You don't have to fill them with anything impressive. Make coffee. Look out the window. Stretch, sit, think. Let your brain wake up on its own terms without immediately being flooded with other people's urgency and other people's content. Here's why this matters more than it sounds. The first thing you consume in the morning sets the emotional tone for your entire day. One more time. The first thing you consume in the morning sets the emotional tone for your entire day. If the first thing your brain receives is notifications, news, and comparison, you start the day slightly reactive, slightly behind, slightly not your own. But if you give yourself even 30 quiet minutes, you begin the day from the inside out, from your own center, and that changes everything. Start with just one morning, just one. See how different it feels. After this one day, try the next day. Write in a comment below yes if you will try. It is an agreement to sign with yourself. Tool number 2 is something I call the boredom practice, and I want you not run away from this one. Once a day, just once, let yourself be bored for 5 minutes on purpose. You are waiting for your coffee to brew? Don't pick up your phone, just wait. You are in a queue? Just stand there. You are on a short walk? Leave your earphones out. I know this sounds almost offensively simple. Alright, great. But here is what happens in those 5 minutes. Your brain, free from input, starts to wander. And wandering, real, unstructured, mental wandering, is where creativity lives, where clarity lives, where your actual thoughts live, the ones that have been waiting for a gap in the noise to come through. Neuroscientists call this the default mode network, your brain's resting state that's actually doing incredible work, processing emotions, consolidating memories, solving problems you didn't even know you were sitting with. We have almost entirely eliminated this state from our lives. We fill every gap with content. And in doing so, we've cut ourselves off from one of our most powerful inner resources. 5 minutes of boredom a day. That's all. Give your mind room to breathe. Tool number 3 is the most important one. I call it the phone relationship audit. Once a week, Sunday evening works well. Spend 5 minutes asking yourself 3 questions. 1. This week, did I reach for my phone when I was feeling something I didn't want to feel? What was that feeling? 2. How did I feel after my most common phone habit, scrolling, reading the news, checking social media? Better or worse than before? 3. Is there something I've been waiting to do, a conversation, a creative project, a moment of rest, that I've been postponing by picking up my phone instead? You don't need to fix anything immediately. Just notice, because awareness is the beginning of every genuine change. You cannot change a habit you haven't honestly looked at. And what you will often find, what most women find, is that the phone isn't the real problem. Behind it is a feeling that needs attention. Loneliness, anxiety, the uncomfortable spaciousness of having no task to complete, the fear of being alone with your own thoughts. Do you hear it? The fear of being alone with your own thoughts. The phone is just the door. The work is asking, what am I walking away from when I open it? Nadia learned to end her days in the dark and sleep like herself again. Clara put her phone in another room and started noticing her own life. Sophia sat in silence for an hour every morning and heard what she already knew. 3 women, 3 phones, 3 small shifts. And underneath all of them, the same discovery. You are more interesting than your feed. Your life is richer than your screen shows. And the woman who lives inside, the stillness, the one who only shows up when the noise stops, she is something worth coming back to. She is perhaps the whole point. Before you go, I have one thing I want you to do. Tomorrow morning, Leave your phone face down for 30 minutes after you wake up. That's it. Just 30 minutes. Can you do it? I'm sure you can, can't you? And then come back and tell me in the comments, what did you notice? What came up? What did you feel in that silence? I will read every comment, and I want to hear from you. If this episode resonated with you, please share it with one woman in your life who needs a little more of herself back. That's the best thing you can do for this channel, and honestly, it might be exactly what she needs today. Subscribe if you are not already. Every episode is made with you in mind. Until next time, protect your quiet. Come back to yourself. And remember, you are always worth coming home to. Thanks for spending your time with me. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.